So you're saying to save S.H.I.E.L.D.
We have to save Hydra.
Okay guys, let's talk about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. update then. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video on the Marvel Future Fight Lounge. And today we're going to be starting the first episode-ish. I don't know whether episode's the right kind of word to use, but we're going to be starting the first episode of a new thing that I want to do called Community Topics / Community Post Showcases. And it's just going to be me going to the forums on the Future Fight forums and just, talking about topics that I think are pretty relevant at the minute, and just giving, a light to people's posts that I think that they've worked hard on and that I think should just be shown a little bit, that might, other people might agree with but might not have actually seen themselves. So today's topic, I think I really wanted to talk about because I've seen a lot of people talking about this on the forums. There's either people that really support this topic or there's people that really are against this. And so I kind of just wanted to come in and share my thoughts on this specific topic, as I know that it's a pretty, you're either for or against thing. So yeah, let's go into it. Oh yeah, also before we start, don't forget to catch me on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday at daily reset time playing Future Fight. It's just Louis B. Let's go. Okay guys, so the first person that I think we should probably mention in this whole A.O.S. update, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever you want to call it, is Panther. Panther's a pretty, he's pretty, I think a lot of people on the forums probably know who he is. He's probably known the most for advocating, we need this update, we need justice for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters, and rightly so. However, I like a lot of his ideas, but I think some of them, we do need to talk about, which is why I'm here. I'm here to talk about some of the ideas, and here to talk about some of the things that I think should work and things that shouldn't work. So I'm gonna start off with my first main point, that being, do I think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. deserve a rework? Yes. 100% yes. Okay, I'm going to get that out of the way straight away. I do think that we are not entitled, that's a bad word to use. I do think that we deserve an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. update, and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show themselves deserve an update, mainly just due to the fact that, they've been not touched really since they came out. I mean, you could argue that, yeah, Coulson got his season 3 uniform after they came out, but it's, that uniform's just, it's about as good as Daisy's uniform, which is not great. So yeah. However, some of the things that I think that people are talking about adding in updates, I don't think makes a lot of sense. So, we'll get into what I think first, but some of the first things that Panther has said is that, one, he doesn't want a lot of hate, because I know that he does get a lot of hate for this, but I don't think he deserves hate. I think he's just, speaking his mind, freedom of speech, he has the right to do that. However, he has said that we should get some new characters. We should get a new character as Yo-Yo, or Yo-Yo Rodriguez, Yelena. And she should be a speed free-to-play character, and that's about all he said. He's not going into much detail. He said that we should have Melinda May, and she should be a speed premium character. We should have Blizzard as a blast-type villain for free. We should have Graviton, who should be universal or blast villain, maybe a crystal wall, such as characters like Mystique, Sabretooth, those like that. And we should have a new uniform for Daisy in her Season 6 outfit, and Coulson in his Season 6 outfit as well. He also thinks that Nick Fury should get his OG uniform, and he also thinks that Sif should get maybe a rework, I'm assuming, and a better looking uniform. Some nice things that he thinks that we should have is a Nick Fury Tier 3, Daisy Johnson with an awakening skill. He said this in the time. He was advocating for her to have Tier 3, but I think he's changed his mind on that now, because a lot of people say that. You'll see he contradicts himself in a sec. Phil Coulson, he thinks, should have an awakening potential. By that, he means just getting to level 17. He says Graviton should be a mid-month awakened skill. So, yeah. And he also said that Daisy here should also be a mid-month Tier 3. Now, we're not clear at the minute in the game whether characters can have an awakening skill and a Tier 3, or whether the awakening skill is instead of a Tier 3. So if that gets confirmed, then we will definitely have our answers on that. So yeah, next up on the list for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. update, posts, then these are just the notable ones that I think I liked some of the things that they said. I've looked at them over, and I've taken what I think the best parts are, and I've put them together into my own idea that I think is a reasonable thing to ask for, but like, you know, again, it comes down to the mob devs and what they want. Next up, we have an update by, I think, I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong, I think Kaital5. He says that we should have new characters as Maria Hill, Graviton again, and then we should have some new uniforms for Agent 13, a tier 3 and a uniform for Daisy Johnson, a new uniform for Nick Fury, I'm assuming, new uniform for Mockingbird, and a new uniform for Coulson. So yeah, he's summarized here: 2 new characters, 2 tier 3s, 2 new abilities, and 6 uniforms. So, you know, we've got the hashtag Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Justice. This is a post that I liked. Mainly for this, I think this is an important thing to talk about here, Maria Hill, which we will talk about when we finish summarizing, you know, everything that I think is important and some of the key points that the community has pointed out about the things that they do and they don't want from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. update. Now, next up, we have a post from 2016. Now, I know this is an old post, but I bring it up because I haven't seen a recent one with a certain part of this that I like, that we had that I thought would be pretty important. So this is by Gryphonix31. He says that we should have new characters as Hive, Agent May, Agent Mac, and Robbie Reyes. This is before Robbie Reyes got added into the game, by the way, guys. He also thinks that we should have a new uniform for Coulson as the director of the S.H.I.E.L.D. with his S.H.I.E.L.D. arm, which he did get. He also thinks that we should have had a Lincoln Camel uniform from Season 3. So I picked this post mainly because even though it's old, I think that this is Hive is a very key character that should be brought up into the game. So we'll talk about that when we finish talking about the last post, which is by C.Y. Leung. Okay, I like this post a lot because this covers a lot of what I think some people want in the game and what some people don't want in the game. So yeah, he says that we should have Agent Carter, Hive, Graviton, and the Patriot in the game, and he also says that we should get 3 new uniforms: Quake, Ghost Rider for Robbie Reyes, and he's not put a picture in, but also an Absorbing Man uniform, because if you guys didn't know, Absorbing Man is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So yeah, these are the key points that I want you guys to keep in your head. These are the posts. So remember what you've got in the posts, and then after that, I will talk about, you know, what I think we could get going on as far as an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. update goes, and some of the things that I think should be added. So yeah, we're gonna head over into the game now, and I'm gonna show you guys some pictures on screen and some of the skills in game, and who I think should be added, why I think they should be added, and some important things that I think that, you know, we should know and talk about. So yeah. Okay guys, so we are just going to be talking off like a sheet here of notes that I wrote down about things that, you know, about my ideas for the update and what we should have. So one of the things that I've written first is about adding Peggy Carter and Melinda May. Peggy I don't see being added, as she would most likely end up being like a worse version of Agent 13 or even Mockingjay. I say this mainly because, you know, she's not really got any powers or anything like that, and yeah, she's like this awesome super spy and all of that, but because she's not an A-list Marvel character and an MCU character or even a comic character, I honestly would not say that if not Marvel wouldn't add her, and if she was, I think you guys would be pretty disappointed, because I don't see how they can really make her interesting or do it justice. However, when we get to the Marvel What If series, and we have already had that leaked image of Peggy Carter if she was Captain America, I think that if we were going to see Peggy Carter at any stage in the game, that's probably when we would see her. And as to regarding Melinda May, I think she is, let's be honest guys, she's basically just the show's slightly worse version of Black Widow. So unless she's some sort of synergy support with Coulson or Fury, I really don't see her being added as a playable character, because she would end up being like Elektra before her first rework. She'd be like a base model kit of Black Widow without the electric, without the, like, you know, the stingers. So if you guys would be really interested in seeing a character that just does some punches or some kicks with like a couple iframes, then sure. I mean, I don't see herself giving herself any buffs. Like, she could maybe have a Coulson passive that's like called the Cavalry, but other than that, I honestly don't see it getting added. Okay, so now as for characters that I think that they could add into the game that I think would be fun to see, I definitely think that they could add the Patriot into the game from the show. He was only in the show for 1 season, and given he wasn't in the show for very long, I still think they could add him into the game as a pretty fun character to play. Considering he is the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D., I definitely think he could have the same leadership as Nick Fury or a similar passive to Blue Marvel, considering his powers and abilities. If you guys don't know what his powers and abilities are, he's technically a fake Inhuman that takes this sort of serum that makes him super strong and super invulnerable. So to see him have like maybe a 70% chance to activate a passive similar to Blue Marvel's, where he's got all that decreased damage, I think would be pretty interesting. And obviously, the all hero allies 50% attack buff as a leadership would be pretty cool to see another one of those in the game. And then as far as skill wise, I think if he was to play like any character in the game, I think he would be like this kind of cross hybrid between endgame Hulk's powers and skill set and Luke Cage's skills, just because he's kind of that brawler kind of character build, pretty smart with the way he fights and so on and so forth. So yeah. Next up, we have Graviton. For sure, I definitely would love to see him added into the game. Now, my ideal set of how he would be added, I definitely think he would be added as a blast villain with his classic look I would like to see. I definitely see him being a paywall character, or maybe even a War Boss Ultimate, I think would be really fun to have. And then if they were going to go the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. route, they could add his uniform from the show, making him a universal. And I think his skills would probably be very similar to Magneto's tier 3 skill, with a mix of Crystal's water abilities, but obviously turned into a shiny texture to make it look like the Gravitonium from the show. But yeah, I think base Graviton with his classic look would probably be very similar to how Magneto works in his kits, but I think they could make it still look very different. So yeah. And then another character I see him being added. I think this is one maybe not a lot of people would be up for, but I definitely would like to see them incorporate into the game, would be Hive. I see him as more of like a summon-based character, for Inhumans though. This is where it differs. I would see him being, kind of very passive. He's kind of like a leader. So I think that his support, he could have a support ability similar to Kitty Pryde's leadership. So how she gives 55% all attack to her mutant allies, I think that could be similar and applied to Inhumans instead, and maybe a damage buff for Inhumans against humans. And then obviously because he's this leader for the Inhumans, I think he would have like a decreased damage dealt from Inhumans to himself, if that makes sense. I think I'm saying that right. Kind of like how Nimrod has decreased damage from mutant characters. That's what it would be decreased damage from Inhuman characters. So yeah, I think that's what it would be. As far as uniforms go, I think that Daisy should definitely for sure get her Season 6 suit. She could have, I think like the way that they would go, I really don't see her getting a tier 3. Like, I don't think that she will get a tier 3. Awakening, yes, I can see that happening. I think there could be a cool skill where like the team comes in, Yo-Yo comes in, but only as like a model character, just how May is for Coulson, and maybe Coulson from Season 6 jumps in, or maybe even Fury the Patriot could jump in and they could do some attack, like some team up kind of skill. But as far as a skills on the uniform, I think that she could at least have iframes on a couple of skills, maybe immunity and a frenzy buff. I was considering going to give her accumulation, but I just don't think she should be too powerful. I think that would, build her up a little bit, give her more hits on her skills, give her a little bit more survivability and all of that. And as far as uniform passive, I think it could go in the way of like some of the new, more recent uniforms have been going. However, I think it could be applies to herself. It gives her damage increased against universal types. I think would be pretty interesting. As you guys know, she is the Destroyer of Worlds. On a side note, I would also kind of like to, if they don't do the Season 6 suit, I think the Destroyer of Worlds suit that she has in Season 5, I think it is, Season 5 or Season 4, I also think would be a very cool suit to use for her because it just looks awesome. And then onto the person that I think could do with a incredible rework because they are just awful from the start, Coulson. I think Coulson getting a Season 6 suit for himself, so, I know with how the story goes in Season 6, it's technically not Coulson, but I still think that would be the best choice for Coulson's uniform. It would allow him to be more of an offensive character, actually deal damage instead of him using that stupid gun that he has at the moment. He would still be using guns, but I think they would be a lot different. As far as skills, I see his vertical maybe being perhaps running morphs into his true form. And I think maybe less iframes for him and, you know, more defense, so like immunity, barriers, and penetration perhaps. I also think that maybe he could have damage accumulation but not damage taken over damage dealt, kind of like Magneto has on his 5th skill. I know I'm using Magneto a lot as a reference, but I think Magneto is a pretty well-rounded character. But I still think he should be a support at heart, so I think the support as his tier 2 passive should definitely still stay, for sure. So yeah, thanks for sticking around, guys. I know that was kind of a long video. It was like, I think we're at like over 15 minutes now, but I honestly just think, you know, this is where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. should be taken. Yeah, that's basically it. This was just a video on showcasing some of the community's thoughts about where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. should go, and then me just giving my opinions on where I think the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. update should go and how I think they should be reworked. It doesn't have to go that way, and I understand that it probably won't go that way, but hey, I can at least make a video and bring light to it. So yeah, I honestly hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you guys want to see another one of these kind of videos, or whether you'd rather just see me going through and looking at like the top posts from the last week or the last month gone by. It can maybe be either a weekly thing or it can be a monthly thing, but you guys gotta let me know. Other than that, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, you guys know that already. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.